So there's so many areas where I feel like this industry needs a new set of thinking and tools and solutions to help us get where we want to go from a profit standpoint.
What's up, everyone? It's Eric Fessels with Tactful. Welcome back to this is going to be a great episode of Tactful Tuesdays, the show where we dig into ideas, technologies, and people shaping the future of print. Over the past few months, going on a year now, we've talked with everyone from hands-on makers to strategic visionaries, all united by a love for elevating print beyond ink on paper. Today's guest has lived that evolution on a global scale. Nick Gawreluk has built a career that spans over 40 countries, holding key roles at Heidelberg, HP, I know he doesn't look this old, guys, HP Indigo, Taylor Corporation, and more. Now he is founder of Print Profit. He's helping print shops rethink their economics with real-time SaaS-based profitability tools. Nick's story really blends technical know-how, business strategy, and a sharp eye for where the industry is headed. While his focus isn't specifically digital embellishment, his expertise in print operations and profit models offers a fresh lens on how embellishment fits into the bigger picture, not just decoration, but as a business decision that can help drive growth. And with that, Nick, welcome to the show.
Rise and shine, everyone. Eric, great to see you. Good morning.
Let's go. Let's go. I think I officially now have the longest introductions of any podcast or video series known to man. It's getting a little bit out of hand, but I have fun with it. I always enjoy as I'm reading that, because I prepare this in advance, as I'm reading that, kind of glancing over to see what my guest is doing. And they're usually like, dude, come on, let's go.
No, it's important. Who's the person, where their perspectives, where's their journey taking them. So I love it.
Yeah,
It's always
absolutely.
good to be listening to your episodes if I don't already know the person.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and really, to be honest with you, like my goal with Tactful Tuesdays is really to get to know the person. It's like to get to know people, right? As you know, I'm a people person, and I think and I've said this, you've probably heard me said it ad nauseum. Some people might know we worked together for a little bit, and if you don't know, part of Nick's journey was also a year with me at What They Think when I was still there, and Nick basically ran the Drupa Daily project for What They Think and did a phenomenal job. But one thing you've heard me say all the time is like, you do business with people. You don't really do business to business. Business to business is people to people. So that's why we like learning about people. But Nick, on to you. You've worked in over 40 countries in both manufacturing and commercial print. What's one expected pattern that you've noticed about how print is valued across different markets?
Yeah, so it's funny. There's a lot of instances where you'd think the way we run printing companies in Malaysia versus United Arab Emirates versus United States would be wildly different. And in some cases it is. And a lot of times it's the same challenges and opportunities that we're all facing globally. So going back to your question, do you want to say it again, Eric?
So I'm just wondering, like, you've been in a lot of different places,
Yeah.
right? Like, is there any unexpected pattern? I guess that would be an unexpected pattern, is that like no matter where you go, it's a lot of the same challenges, right? So I mean, that's a great answer to that question. I mean, you've spent time in Germany, you spent time all over the place. I guess maybe let's turn the question into like, what's the one thing that you've learned? I mean, I've known you since like I think I've known you.
A
Were you,
long
were
time,
you still in college when we first met?
probably.
I
A
feel
long.
like it was like I feel like it was at one of those scholarship dinner. I think you got a scholarship, and I was at the dinner and just came up and said hey to you, and I just remember
I
like this
couldn't
dude.
grow this beard at that
You
time.
were not able to grow a beard at all. At all. But I mean, so talk a little bit, maybe just contextualize like your journey for us. Like you RIT guy, then kind of just tell us about like, I always ask this question, so I'm going to ask it to you. How the hell did you get in print? Because everyone has a unique story around that.
Let's hit up a few of the points. So Nick, in a nutshell, born and raised in Minnesota and fell into print by accident at my local high school. Had a killer little graphic arts program, found my passion, go big or go home, went to school in New York. And then I had incredible opportunities to work all around the world and see the industry from different angles. The vendor side, the print service provider side. And to your original question, Eric, in my journey helping run businesses around the world in print, job costing, how do we price it? How do we understand profit? I saw that as a global challenge.
Big time.
And that turned into opportunity to want to help modernize. So, you asked a great first question, and I want to just answer that clearly. That has been something globally, no matter what business card I've had, or where the passport stamp was, man, it's everywhere in our industry because it's complicated. We're custom manufacturing. If we just made the same widget all day, run the
Yeah.
presses and go to sleep, but no, everything's different. It's hard.
For sure, for sure. And some jobs can turn into that, right? Like just kind of that's where you get the commoditization. But I think, and one of the things, and obviously we work kind of tangentially on this within the embellishment space of like trying to get printers to not leave money on the table. So your print profit, your company, it's about real-time profitability tracking. Where do you see most print shops leaving money on the table?
Yeah, man, there's so many challenges, yet with those challenges, opportunities. So I think when you go back to like bare bones fundamentals, I think we've got so screwed up in our industry. What is a job cost? It's almost like some of the big questions in life. What happens when I die? What is my job cost? And we made it way too messed up. And then that impacts our selling price and then what we think is our profit. So there's so many areas where I feel like this industry needs a new set of thinking and tools and solutions to help us get where we want to go from a profit standpoint. And I know we're both passionate guys about the industry. I just get fired up about the great people in our industry who take big risks.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, man, we're just keeping our head above water. And I just say there's got to be a better way here.
So Nick, so we talk a lot about at Tactful as we're teaching people, especially on the digital embellishment side, we teach them to not cost plus, right? To like, because we're really always say we're in the value era of digital embellishments because it's not commoditized. It's not everybody doesn't have a Scodex. Everybody doesn't have an MGI, right? Like, but you're saying on some levels, even the costing is not right. So
It's all
you
screwed
could
up.
you could be screwing up cost plus even, right? Is that's what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll keep it short and sweet, but the way we typically do cost plus, we think we're creating a profit. And long story short, my philosophy, that's really a mirage because we've messed up what is the job even cost.
True
So
cost.
I just see like such big opportunity to use data and have some out of the box strategies to really think different, print different, and get different results from what we've always got. And like, I love what you and the team are doing, wanting to shake the status quo, saying, hey, it's not just cost plus, there's a lot of value add. But then even value add gets tough because, we can't sit back with a nice drink and have a conversation every estimate about what might the customer be willing to pay. We got to go. This is a
Yeah.
fast turnaround business. So
Yep.
I see opportunities kind of a hybrid. Yes, you've got your cost plus traditional. Yes, you've got some value add strategies. And how can you kind of mix those together to try to get as much as we think that customer is willing to pay?
Well, and I think you hit upon something that's really important is the data-driven aspect of it. And that's exactly what we're doing with the Tactify product with estimating for digital embellishments is we're even taking into account the zip code of the customer and what that market is like. Right. Because think about it. Like if you've got a customer that's in Louisville, Kentucky, that's buying business cards, and you've got someone in Hollywood, California, they're willing to pay different prices for that same product. And we don't take that into consideration near enough, much less cost, figuring out what our true cost is. But I want to dig into something with you because I think you can bring a unique perspective to this because of the work that you're doing at Print Profit. When you look at new investment, whether it's a press, a finishing line, an embellishment unit, how should shops decide if it's financially worth it?
Yeah, I'm a big believer. Like I live in numbers day in, day out. I'm a strange person. That lights me up like
Hey,
Christmas
listen,
morning.
like I hung out with you long enough to know this guy. Listen, everybody, when he says this, he's being really humble. He's an absolute effing whiz with spreadsheets. I used to say, hey Nick, we gotta. How can I look at this problem? And he would send me a spreadsheet, and I'd be like, what in the hell?
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Anyway, sorry.
With strategic investments, I think the numbers are critical. And then you have things that are non like numbers financials and really looking at those holistically. But at the end of the day, because it's such a cutthroat business and industry, and we don't have the luxury to mess up our CapEx expenditures. Like we got to get that right. So I think it comes down to having a solid like ROI, like and just an overview of does this financially make sense? But then what's the greater strategy behind it? And some of the soft things like the go to market and the training.
Training. Oh
How
yeah,
do we,
training's
like
huge.
it's like a whole story that needs to come together, and the spreadsheets are one aspect, but a critical one.
Yeah, for sure. And there's always going to be a jumping off point, right? Like there's always going to be risk involved. You're never going to build a case for putting in a $500,000 machine that is so airtight that as soon as it's installed, you've got payback, you've got ROI, right? Like there's always going to be that. One strategy that I've seen that I've encountered and obviously I'm coming out of kind of the media world, learning a whole lot more,
Yeah.
a lot more, like guys like yourself who've spent lots of years in shops. I had not. Outsourcing, like build the business and outsource it to trade or to another print shop until the point at which you can hop. Like that makes that transition a little easier to swallow than this big capex thing having to build the businesses around it or to
Yep.
support it. That's what
And
I'm
hoping that it'll magically
Yeah.
materialize.
Yeah, build it and they will come. Yeah, we hammer on that a lot. No, no, that's not a good hope is not a strategy. So you said that many print businesses are using cost models that haven't changed in decades. What's the danger in that and how do you recommend they modernize? And what is the aspect of that legacy that is leading printers astray? Like what's wrong with those cost models that haven't changed in decades?
You're generous with decades. It's really like century plus.
Right.
So, I'll save everyone the big history lesson, but a lot like our industry is rooted in hourly rates and MIS systems, which use those rates. So you put in the input of a job and it can spit out a selling price at a profit that we hope is sufficient for our company. But when you dig in the mechanics of like, what does that job cost? Our industry loves to put in labor into that cost and all the overhead costs of the business into it. And the challenge is it's extremely complicated the way that we calculate it. Many people don't even understand it. If they do understand it, they'll do that exercise and then the market won't bear it. So then they'll just manipulate the MIS and kill the whole point of it.
Right.
So, like everything from my journey and what we do with our software at Print Profit, it really is rebellious in the way of saying, "Hey, what's the real cost of a job?" And that labor, all those overhead costs, that's really fixed. When we talk
Sure.
to shops, they're, "Hey, we're Monday through Friday, 2 shifts. You can't let those people go."
Right. You're gonna be open, you're gonna have electricity on,
Yeah,
like
we can't just let people go and we don't pay them job by job. So, yeah, that's where we say, hey, that historical thinking, we just really want to say, like, what's factual and what can we wrap our head around and what's going to guide us in the best decisions. And that old way of doing our costing and pricing, I don't believe it's really served our industry in the way it was originally intended back in like the Industrial Revolution. And I'll tell you, like, when you have accountants and academia who are rebelling, saying, this ain't it anymore. Man, when those folks are on the picket line, it's like you really know, we might need to change things. And that's been going on since like the 70s and 80s. So there's a ripe opportunity for shop owners to think different and profit different.
yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a nice segue talking about profit because I want to get your thoughts on how you see embellishment and specifically digital embellishment because we've had embellishment, actually from the time that we scribbled in embellishments in Bibles back in the day, right? Like we've had a lot of embellishment, but digital embellishment is kind of bringing this a little bit of a revolution of like sort of bringing it downstream to the shorter run jobs, and digital has been doing that for a long time to offset. How do you see digital embellishment fitting into the profitability conversation for printers who are trying to stand out in these competitive markets?
Yeah, I think that's the name of the game, right? When a lot of what we're producing is commodity in nature, how do you stand out? How do you differentiate? And at the end of the day, the whole reason that we're printing is to typically, in like a business to business setting, try and help our customers be successful in whatever endeavors
Yeah,
they're
they're trying to achieve something with that output, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
For all those reasons, and at the end of the day, we still need to make a profit, our printing companies, right, to keep going.
Mhm.
If you can command a premium and you need to deliver the value to command the premium, but like that's the name of the game. And we know it's all rooted in delivering value. Cause if you're not going to get that premium. So I think it all plays into a compelling strategy for printing companies and where how they want to serve their clients, what purchases they want to make. I think it's a critical one.
So here's one. I'm gonna have you put your if you've got a crystal ball handy, like you might want to grab that. Uh, from your vantage point, which emerging print technologies could be as transformative for the industry as digital presses were 15 years ago?
I think software. I don't have to think about it
Man,
more than a second. It's software.
that's actually a really great and kind of obvious answer.
Yeah.
And here we are, like both, like we're both running software businesses. Of course, we're going to say it's software, right? But I mean, if you look at what's happening with AI and with data, I think software now can play a unique role because that's what software is good at, manipulating data. And now with AI technologies, like, man, can we manipulate data? And it's almost in absolute real time. So the tools that we're able to build with software is, I think that's a great answer. So what do you see? I'm going to dig into it just a little bit more. What do you see happening in the software space that could be as disruptive as digital printing was in the
Like I'm biased with print profit, but like we're obsessed with wanting to build the business co-pilot for the industry that's going to say how profitable do you want to be and day by day how can you get there. I really appreciate what you and your team are doing, wanting to disrupt. Hey, let's get away from commodity and let's really put a spotlight on embellishments and how can we bring this to the masses in a way that's feasible? How do you actually support the execution, the pricing, the strategy?
design. Yeah, exactly.
Man, there's so much going on with things like what Gelato's doing and all these partnerships and the interconnectivity and just a printing company and all the softwares and how do you simplify that? There's so much going on. Like it's almost exhausting keeping up every week or month with the changes. This is far from, as we know, a boring, stagnant industry.
It is tough. And what's as you talk, I'm thinking of the common denominator there, the gelatos, right? And the Canvas and HP and what those guys are doing with distributed print. It's simplification. It's making the technology of print less a mystery and more accessible to more people. Right. Like I couldn't imagine like some of the stuff that I'm doing would just be prohibitively hard for me to do pre Canva.
Yeah. And to your point, like making it simple. And I'll tell you from my experience, that is hard. That is
It's the
so hard.
hardest thing ever is to make something simple. It's the
We
hardest
love
thing ever.
complexity.
It is, especially in the software world. What I see happening just as an outside observer, I'm not a developer or anything, but like we just want to toss features onto the user interface, like feature, and all of a sudden you're just like, what the hell is this, right? And the best software, which is the hardest to make, as you point out, is very simple and easy to the user, but behind the scenes, man, it's a factory of madness trying to manipulate all of that data.
And to that point, hang with me 2 seconds.
Yeah, man, we got so we're doing it live.
Here's all of our what is a job cost? How do we estimate? These books are bigger than the Holy Bible or
What in
even,
the world?
how to put a rocket on the moon. So you want to talk about complex and how do we just keep it simple and truthful?
So, Nick, be honest, man. You just scanned all of those books, you put it into AI,
Yes.
you vibe coded it out, and you got print profit, right? It's
Got a
easy.
business in a weekend.
Yeah, I know that not to be true. You've slaved over that stuff.
Eric,
All right.
I want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
We were talking about software or even before that, like big disruption. I visit a lot of printing companies and like I was just at one of the larger ones in the United States this week. And it's amazing when you walk in these multi-million dollar factories and see multi-million dollar equipment and all of the skilled labor and thinking, man, software can help drive this beast and keep those presses printing the right work. It's kind of like we are what we eat. We
Yeah.
are the jobs we take in as a company, and software, like, and typically the investment of software, especially in a SaaS world, man, it's peanuts compared to that huge overhead. And that's also exciting to think. I'm not pricing my software in the millions, and I don't think you are, but it's like, man, for a
No.
nominal investment, this will drive the beast to get you somewhere where you're not today and you want to be. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, dude, same, same. And we're kind of building the same, along the same lines. And that's why we've been friends, so we talk, but we've also talked about the businesses. I want to shift a little bit because I always like to do this, and I know that we're running out of time here. And you may have already covered it. What was the first print project or machine or encounter that you had with print that made you say, man, this is what I want to do?
Yeah. I learned on a one or two color AB Dick press, and I messed it up, and like the envelope went through the machine and messed up the blanket, and we had to like do an autopsy. And so that one didn't get me, but it was our screen printing automatic press where I could make shirts. I could have a side hustle, sell them to my friends.
Hell yeah.
That's where the light went off. Like, man, this is better than shoveling snow or mowing grass.
I didn't get into this too heavy, but when I was back in my band days, early 90s in Nashville, I actually went and got all of the hobby equipment to make a screen,
Yeah.
right? And did the lamp and then rinse it in the
Yeah.
tub
Yep.
and then pull the ink over and made our band t-shirts. And dude, I felt like an absolute baller doing
Yep.
that, right?
You
Like,
made it.
where'd you get your t-shirt? We made them. Like, this is us. We did this stuff. So you balance a lot, global travel, the startup life. I love your video series that you're doing, just kind of a peeking into like that whole startup life. Love it, love it, love it. And also advanced education. You spend a lot of time learning. What's your go-to recharge ritual? Like, what do you do to kind of like, okay, and again, charge that battery back up?
First off, I don't do enough of that. I don't. But I
That's
will say
awareness. Awareness is key, brother.
long drives, road trips, that's my special place. You can think, maybe got a good friend, family member nearby, rocking out to some music.
I love that. And
Maybe
I,
a
th-
little
I think we've
caffeinated
actually
beverage.
called each other on long road trips before.
Many times, but
Yeah.
that's my happy place.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. What's one tool, gadget, or process in your daily life you wish they had the same kind of dashboard clarity as Print Profit?
Good question.
What do you need organizing? What do you need clarity in?
I would love
I know what it is. It's scheduling your recharge ritual time.
yeah, there's that. I'd say, I mean, we're really fortunate to have conversations with incredible shops of all different shapes and sizes around the world. And I would love a magic, and it's actually just paying for a decent CRM, but really managing all those conversations and what did we talk about and what are the follow-ups and automating that. That would be helpful. I'm working far too manual in that regard and just relying on this.
Yeah, for sure. That's a stage of growth, I think. We went through that at What They Think. We just seat of the pants,
Yep.
and then luckily we got a data nerd in himself and Adam joining the business, and he kind of got us straight on all of that stuff. Well, Nick, man, I'm so glad to finally get you on the show. And I'm just I can't tell you how thrilled I am, A, to have followed your career for so long, gotten the opportunity to work together, and now getting to watch you grow a business is, for me, just hugely satisfying. Much success with Print Profit. Everybody check out what they're doing. And I'm still in the game for a t-shirt, right? 2X.
Yeah, I've got it
Because
behind
that
me right
skull,
here.
that
It,
guessing is a slow death skull Print Profit is so badass. I have to have one. I would even take stickers or whatever. Where might we see you next popping up? Any events that you're going to be at?
Yeah, we're really working hard, building a bit incognito, and I would think either this fall or early next year, you're going to see us popping up and sharing some of that hard work.
Hell yeah. Looking so forward to it. Best of luck with everything, my friend. Thanks for being on the show. Yeah, it's still kind of early in the morning, so let's go grind.
Let's get after it. Thanks for the opportunity, Eric. Always a good time.
Yeah, see you, man.